You're listening to the Blue 82 Podcast, hosted by Craig and Nicholas. Please like and subscribe so we know that you like what we're doing. And now, let's talk football. Blue 82!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Blue 82 Podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Nicholas. And this is episode 12, where we recap Week 8. We had a high-scoring week through a lot of games. A lot of these games were a lot of high scores. Finally got some offense, but still some sloppy play at the end of the day. This week, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to add a little segment in, just special this week, that we want to talk about. We're just going to be essentially talking about last year's quarterback draft class and just getting into that a little bit. But before we do that, I just want to thank y'all. I think we got a couple new subscribers this week. Had some comments and stuff. We appreciate y'all. Like we said before, we wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, we could do it without y'all, but y'all definitely make us want to get on here and do it. Like, because I was gonna be like, bro, like we couldn't do this without y'all. But I mean, technically we.
We're doing shit for free, so.
Yeah, no, we're out here. We love it.
It definitely helps. Excuse me. It definitely helps that there's people watching and subscribing. That makes me want to actually do it.
Oh, 100%. And then when you see like new faces and you're like, okay, this is cool. Like I like it. Like.
Yeah, we're actually doing something instead of just talking to ourselves here.
Yeah, shout out to y'all. We appreciate y'all again as always. There's not like a whole I know last week we had a pretty good sized segment at the beginning of like injuries and updates and things like that happened. I feel like we didn't have a whole lot of that this week. I'll run through the couple ones that I'm seeing here that I remembered.
But we should just do the trade first, right?
Yeah, that is true. We'll talk about that.
Because there's only 2 trades?
Yeah, there was the one we talked about last week was the James Robinson one. I don't know.
No, the Robert Quinn one.
Yeah, I don't know if that happened. The Robert Quinn got traded to. You got to help me out, Nick. Again, I always get them confused.
Eagles.
Robert Quinn got traded to the Eagles for a. I want to say it was like a 5th round pick, a 4th, somewhere around there.
Hold on, wait, I'll
sorry, I was telling this to Nick earlier that I get Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith confused, so it literally just scrambles my brain every time I mention one of their names. But yeah. See, I'm doing it again, man. Robert Quinn got traded to the Eagles. Thank you. It's not hard.
Okay, I got it pulled up here. So, we'll just go for an order. So, the latest trade was today, October 1st. Baltimore picked up Roquan Smith. The Bears ended up getting a 2nd round pick, a 5th round pick, and AJ Klein,
I think, yeah.
The biggest thing I noticed here is that obviously Baltimore gets now the player Roquan Smith. I'm not sure what's going to happen as he is due for a contract, as is Lamar. So there was talks that maybe they could franchise tag him. Yeah, but Lamar is due as well. So
what I heard that's
going to be a little tight on that.
Pretty interesting, Nick, is I heard that if they don't re-sign Roquan Smith to a contract, that the Ravens get a 3rd round pick in return for not signing him. So if he walks in free agency, they get a 3rd round pick back.
Oh, like the
compensatory pick or whatever for losing a player, like they do coaches.
Yeah.
So they get a 3rd round pick back. So they gave away a 2nd and a 5th, and then they can literally use them for a year to make this push for the playoffs if we want. Kind of like we talked about with James Robinson, a rental. Granted, if they re-sign him, that'd be sick for them. Because I think he's like the leading tackler, really good linebacker. But yeah, so they get a 3rd round pick if he walks in free agency. So they're pretty much getting what they gave up in return, essentially. Like, yeah, you gave up a 2nd, but I feel like you're still getting a decent end of the deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not bad. I wanted to more so talk about the Bears here. I don't have my phone, unfortunately, but I can't remember what all the picks they have. But I know they're like basically stacked up for like their next like couple of draft classes here coming up.
Stacked.
But I also saw too that they have now, I believe next year was $100 million in cap space as well, somewhere around that number.
Yeah.
So it's like they're definitely looking like they're gonna try and become the off-season what is it, the offseason winners that they always call them?
Yeah. They have 9 draft picks in 2023 as of 9 hours ago. So that might have been after the trade.
Did they have 2 second-round picks?
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's after. They definitely look like they're stocked up then. Excuse me. The next one that also happened, that I didn't even remember this one, honestly, is October 27th. That was Kadarius Toney going to the Chiefs.
Ooh, yeah.
And then New York got back a 3rd-round pick, a conditional compensatory pick, and then a 2023 6th-round pick. So again, it's hard to say because it's like the Giants are losing this trade because they're giving up basically a 1st-round value player who's only in year 2 of a contract.
Right, and didn't get a first in return.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you lost that value there, but at the same time, you also made up the value of getting rid of a guy that's literally injury prone, hasn't done anything. I think he's played he's probably got to play 2 games in the last how many games he's missed.
He's missed I almost want to say
missed
15
he's missed
games,
half
bro.
the season from last year as well because he only played a little bit, and then he got hurt in that game, and then he didn't play since then all the way up till this year, and then again he got hurt.
Right.
So it's I'm not sure if he's gonna do that whole I'm hurt, and next thing goes to the Chiefs and bang, he's back out there playing like nothing happened. But that'd be kind of a bitch move in my opinion. But
well, he did already come out and say that he wasn't injured anymore, and that people that aren't relevant don't get updates. So pretty much saying that he's been fine this whole time, but nobody got updated because he's not relevant. I don't know. I think it's just a guy that the Giants needed to get out of their building.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you wasted the 1st-round pick on him, so you lost that value, but you ended up getting something for someone that is honestly surprising. He was in year 2, has in my opinion, he has no fucking value.
He's shown a couple.
He's shown a little bit of promise,
but been injured so much.
But at the same time, he's showing so much that he's been hurt so much. It's why would I even why waste a 3rd and a 6th on him? I feel like that's they kind of scammed the Chiefs out of that 100%. Because there's no way he doesn't go for just a 6.
And then that whole rumor going around that he didn't know the playbook and didn't learn it, and it's those are not just things you want to hear out of somebody. I'm cool with the Giants giving that up all day. I mean, maybe he finds a new life and figures it out. And
again, I think he's got the talent for sure. A lot of these guys, the thing is, a lot of these guys do have the talent. They just stop working at it.
Yep.
Or they give up on it. Yep. And it's sad to see, but maybe he turns it around. I'm not too sure what to expect out of him.
I think a lot of people... Nick,
he does have some elite route running. I've seen juke moves, so it's maybe he can make it work with Mahomes. Maybe he'll want to try more, but it's up to him.
I think something that needs to be said sometimes is a lot of these guys, when you look at their lives and their careers and everything, they come from less fortunate situations, right? Mm-hmm. Then they work their whole lives to try to get out of those situations, and their only ticket in their eyes is to make it to the league or whatever. So they go through college, they go through high school, they work their asses off for this, and then they make it to the league. And I feel like a lot of them, and this is why we also see a lot of busts and things like that, is because a lot of them get to the league, they get their money, and then they just stop working because they feel like they've made it. Versus not many people have this drive to keep pushing after they make it to the league to continue to be great. You know what I mean? Because in their eyes, their goal at the end of the day was just make it to the league and get money and get signed. So I feel like that's something that a lot of players run into, and that's why we see some of these busts. And of course you get busts for other reasons. I'm not saying that every guy that comes out in a draft is a bust because they just stop working, but I feel like it's a lot of that's the case for a lot of it. You know what I mean?
100%, I agree. I think a lot of these guys are young, immature at some point guys. A lot of them aren't fully mentally developed and they don't understand things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these guys come out and you said, that goal is to just get to the league
and get paid.
After that, they don't have that next step of I got to the league. Now my next step is to get the big contract or to be a pro. They don't move it the goal forward. They just stay there, and that's how you see some of these guys are making bad decisions or whatnot, and it's sad to see. Because I want everyone to do better or do good, but it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it just makes it a better experience for us as a fan. You know what I mean? You get all these new players in, and you want to see them succeed, so you just see more faces and things like that. Real quick, we had somebody in chat say feels good to be the best team in our league. He's talking about the Seahawks, but we'll break that down when we get there, Nathan. Stick around. We'll be live for a bit. Yeah, so I mean, I agree 100%, Nick. Like I think that's what a lot of the players run into, and it just sucks to see, but there's not much you can do about it at the end of the day. Also, real quick on that trade surprised me just because he's a first round
It was
pick.
shocker.
I did
Yeah,
not
that's what I'm saying.
expect
Like,
him
he's a
to
second
get traded.
round, second year player.
Yeah.
You
A
just
lot of
don't
times,
expect that.
a lot of times you see these dudes get drafted in the first round, and if they're at bust,
Usually they stay to
bust,
like 3.
yeah, they make them
Year
stay
3,
to,
and then it's done
Yeah.
after that.
to at least try to see if they missed anything or if they turn things around. Like, so this is
Especially
crazy
with
to
new
see.
coaching staff too, right? Usually they try and keep them just to be like, oh,
Yeah.
like you try and make something like you
He
got to
must
see
have
what you
really
got.
not been a culture fit at all with Brian Daboll, and they just had to get him out of there.
He must have done something to piss him off or whatever.
Yeah.
Real quick, going back to the Roquan Smith one, I just saw this from Adam Schefter as I was scrolling through it. It says Roquan Smith was owed $5.4 million for the rest of the season. As part of today's trade agreement, he is now being paid $4.8 million by the Bears, and the Ravens are only paying him $575,000.
So the Bears are just dumping players off to get fucking draft picks. Like, anybody with value is getting dumped just to get draft picks. Like, they're full rebuild mode at this point.
I don't mind it because again, at the end of the day, Roquan Smith is going to get a big contract somewhere.
Yeah, and if you're not ready to play at that
you're
level,
not gonna. The Bears weren't gonna pay him.
No,
It's just as simple as
There's no
that.
point,
And I
yeah.
doubt he would even want to stay with the Bears.
yeah, you might as well.
But
get
moving
what you
on to
can
the
out
last
of them.
trade here, was October 26th. Was the Bears got a 4th round pick and the Eagles got Robert Quinn. Again, we basically talked about how the Bears are just offloading talent. So
Yeah.
not sure who's next, but I'm sure if anyone wants to buy someone from the Bears, go for it.
Yeah, the trade deadline is tomorrow, I think at 4 p.m. Eastern. So by the time this episode comes
usually
out,
at
the
4
trade
p.m.
deadline will be over. We're also doing a night edition of this episode because I had to end up working today, so we're having to get it done later in the night. So
And I was traveling. So.
yeah, and he was traveling. So we're actually going to break down the Monday night game that happened tonight as well, which is something we don't normally get to because we film it Monday during the day. But moving on, what injuries we got, Nick?
Oh yeah, real quick. There's one more trade. Was Jonathan Hankins?
Oh, the D tackle to
He got-
Dallas.
Yeah, and then Vegas got a 6th round pick. Haven't heard that guy's name in a long time, honestly.
Yeah, from what I heard, like I don't watch the Cowboys a lot. I mean, I watch them as much as they pop up on the screen. But from what I've seen, like the run game for the Dallas defense has struggled, so that's a good piece that they can add to help out in that interior D line.
I mean, damn it, their run game run defense has struggled. Their defense is still nasty.
Oh,
Jesus.
absolutely, yeah.
Like they have one of the better defenses for sure.
So a couple injuries I see here. Running back Mark Ingram suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain. He's probably out 3 to 4 weeks. I know he's a backup, but Devontae Parker suffered a knee sprain.
He didn't have to throw that in there.
Nah, bro, I like Mark Ingram. He's my guy, but most people
he
will
just
probably be like,
slipped his job title in there, like okay.
no, most people would be like, who
Like,
cares
you have
about
to do
Mark
him like
Ingram?
that.
But I mean, I care. That's why I throw it out there. Like, that was more so like not throwing shade at him. It was more so because I know somebody's going to be like, who gives a fuck about Mark Ingram? But I do, so I throw it out there.
He's definitely a household name.
No, 100%. Devontae Parker, they think he could miss some time with a knee injury, but it looks like it'd probably be only one game.
Who would have expected that?
Who would have expected that, right? The Bucks pass rusher Shaq Barrett is on IR with a torn Achilles. So that's tough. Their defense has kind of been struggling, so add that into the mix. It's even worse. Vikings tight end Irv Smith suffered a high ankle sprain. They're sorting out a timeline still, but something to look forward to. Nick just had him on his fantasy team, and he's already ready to offload him. Kelsey's coming back from the bye, so he's like, fuck Irv Smith.
I never want to see anyone get hurt, though.
Nah, not at all. Real quick, another piece of news was the Lions have fired defensive backs coach Aubrey Pleasant. So they get fucking torched by Tua and Tyreek.
We'll get into that when it happens. I was going to save that for the game.
We'll save that. I had to throw that in there because I fucking saw it and I thought it was hella funny. Another piece of news, PJ Walker's once again going to be the starter, which I love. Keep giving the kid his opportunities. He's playing fucking great. Like, the Panthers are surprising people. a game that we'll
I'll
break
support
down.
decisions like that versus like what the Bengals did a couple years ago. There's like the Bengals like put in some like I don't remember who it was, like some random ass quarterback instead of Andy Dalton
Uh-huh.
against the Dolphins. And that was the year that it would have been like 2018, right?
Yeah.
Or 2019 going into 2020, sorry.
Yeah, the year before
So,
Burrow.
yeah, so basically the Burrow fucking Tua Herbert draft class, they basically tanked to beat the,
Yeah.
like basically lost to the Dolphins just tanking.
Yeah.
I don't agree with doing things like that because that no doubt to me is just like you gave up on that game.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas
on
like
that
at least to the
season.
Panthers, they're not going anywhere. But you already know what you see in Baker and you already know what you got in Sam Darnold. Why not see what PJ Walker's made of?
And honestly,
Those decisions to me are okay.
100%. And honestly, bro, like,
And it's not like he's playing bad either.
Nah, he's playing. I think he's playing better than Darnold and Baker will ever get to. I mean, Baker has his moments, but PJ's low key killing it in my eyes. Like, yeah, they lost the last 2 weeks, but he hasn't, or not last two, but lost this week. But he's been doing great in my opinion. Next, it looks like defensive end from the Colts, Tyquan Lewis suffered a season-ending knee injury, torn patellar tendon. I think they're saying Chase Young for the Commanders is looking like he's back on schedule to be at practice, which I guess he was dealing with some injury. I feel like that dude's been injured the last 3 seasons. Another one that's probably pretty important to a lot of people is wide receiver Cooper Kupp is expected to be day-to-day with his ankle sprain. But I think they've already came out and said that he's going to play this week, so I don't really know why even say it, you know what I mean? Coach John Harbaugh said Rashad Bateman will be out a few weeks with a foot injury, which I don't know if y'all recall, the dude's already missed like 3 weeks with this foot injury, comes back and plays and then is out of the game already, and now they're saying they saw more than what they originally saw, and now he's going to be out a few more weeks, so there's that. Tight end Mark Andrews avoided a major injury. Coach John Harbaugh said Andrews is dealing with shoulder and ankle injuries. They haven't came out and said if he's going to play or anything, so something to keep an eye on there. We talked about the trades. I think that's
Deebo
all I
Samuel
got.
was out. What happened with that?
He had a hamstring injury.
That was a big one too.
Yeah, they rolled him out a little earlier in the week this week before the game on Sunday.
Man, Bucks defense. I'm just scrolling right now. Bucks defense is in a blender, man. Look at this. Antonio Winfield Jr. out. Sean McFurvey Bumpting out.
Oh, Sean Murphy Bunting?
Akeem Hicks out. Carlton Davis out.
Yeah.
Shaquille Barrett injured reserve. Like, man.
They're going through it.
Yeah, no wonder their points has dropped off. I didn't realize it was that bad. Like, Mike, that's two corners at least, and then like your starting pass rusher. Like, that is brutal. They don't have any comments here about Ryan Tannehill. Do you know what it was? Why you missed?
I think it was an ankle injury. Yeah, it was an ankle injury.
Okay.
They still haven't came out and said anything about him, but I mean, Malik Willis started that game. Another piece of news that might lead up to something, I think this is the last one I got, is teams have reached out to the Colts to inquire about trading for Nyheim Hines. So, I mean, there's a lot of interest for running backs in this trade market, I feel like, right now. Like, you got Cam Akers, Nyheim Hines, Kareem Hunt, all those dudes.
Problem is, like, how much do you value those guys?
Exactly. And especially with Robinson, which I feel like, in my opinion,
Robinson was probably the best one to be available.
yeah, maybe behind Kareem Hunt. I feel like you could probably put them 1A, 1B at the top.
That
but
is
yeah,
true. Kareem Hunt. Well, Robinson's on a rookie contract still, isn't he? Not maybe a rookie, but I think
he was
on, like,
undrafted,
a
so his
deal.
contract is so cheap. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Versus what you got to pay Kareem Hunt, right?
Yeah.
'Cause Kareem Hunt actually re-signed with the Browns. So I don't know.
yeah,
Probably, like, I still assume he has value, but I would have assumed that the best price he would have gotten for a running back would have been whatever James Robinson got, and I can't remember what that was.
and I don't know if the Browns are willing to give up Kareem Hunt for a 4th round pick. You know what I mean, or a 5th. Like, I feel like they probably want to.
If they would, I would definitely, as a Dolphins fan, I'd be wanting that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, me being
I think that'd be a I mean, that would be great.
Yeah, me being a somewhat Eagles fan right now because the way Jalen Hurts is playing, like him and
Eagles don't
Philly
even
would
need
be
him
crazy.
though. Like,
No, I don't think they do.
that's the
But
thing. Like,
yeah,
the
but
running backs are pretty decent. Like Miles Sanders isn't bad.
they are 100%. But you know how it is. If you actually have a good team that year, the way
Oh,
the league's
yeah,
playing,
yeah.
like do
I
what
get
you
it.
can. But yeah, he was sick. He wasn't hurt. I think he was dealing with an ankle injury. But yeah, I think he ultimately ended up being out because of an illness. You're right. Yeah, I think if he wasn't sick, he probably would have played with the ankle injury. But I remember I saw a portion of the Texans game, and it was the beginning when they were talking about Malik Willis, and it showed like a thing on the screen with Tannehill, and it said like illness/ankle. So I just fucking said ankle. But yeah, you're right. That's all I got for the news and injuries. You got any more?
Absolutely not.
All right.
That was all I had.
So next, we want to kind of run this segment real quick before we break down Week 7 games. I'm sorry, Week 8. I was telling Nick, because y'all have heard me say it before. Y'all have heard me say that I don't like to make full decisions on quarterbacks if they haven't really played a lot, and I like to let them work their things out before I make a final decision. But I think I'm finally to the point to where, looking at last year's draft class of quarterbacks, I'm ready to make a decision on who I think is good, not good, getting there. I'm going to start off with the number 1 pick, and then this will lead into the next part that me and Nick want to talk about as well. In my eyes, Trevor Lawrence hasn't lived up to the number 1 pick hype. But I think if you were to take that away from him and to look at where he's at as a quarterback right now, I think he's making strides to get to be a good quarterback in this league. I still think he's got a good bit to go, but I think he's one of the better quarterbacks out of this draft class. Probably, if not the best.
I was gonna say he has to be the
Yeah,
best.
has to be.
Looking at these quarterbacks, he's definitely would have been the number 1 overall pick,
Yeah.
no matter what. If he were even to redraft it, like, there's just no way.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one we got is who? We'll talk about Trey Lance. Can't really say much about
All right,
him.
no. Just go in order. So the first overall pick was Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
Second overall pick, Zach Wilson. Let's go.
All right, Zach
We'll just
Wilson.
go in order. Break it down.
Zach Wilson.
This is like Craig's quarterback take, so let's see.
Yeah, let's.
Wait, we'll go back real quick. So Trevor Lawrence, are you in or are you out on him?
I'm in on Trevor Lawrence. I'll take him on my
Okay.
team. If
Fair
I were the
enough,
Texans,
take it
I'd have him.
All right, so moving on to Zach Wilson. Give me
Zach
your take
Wilson, I don't want him on my team. Look, I've been the biggest quieting folks down when it comes to certain quarterbacks because, like I said, I'd like to.
That's what I
see
said. You're like the
consistency.
neutral.
I'm the neutral
party.
guy, but I think I've gotten to the point to where I think Zach Wilson fucking sucks. Put Joe Flacco in. Next,
We have Trey Lance, third overall pick.
Trey Lance.
Again,
Can't say much. Had the injury. Unfortunate.
it's toss your arms up. You don't know. You can't.
Yeah.
I can't judge a guy that's played like 5 snaps, whatever it was. Like that's
Yeah.
that's an egregious
Yeah,
statement.
he
But he's
hasn't
only
played
played one game,
much,
literally one game, I think, and it was like a rain game. And then the second game he got hurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Can't say much
moving
about that
on.
one.
We have the second last pick of the first round for quarterbacks. It was Justin Fields, pick 11.
Justin Fields, pick 11. I think something that you need to say about Justin Fields before I say if I'm in or out on him. He's not dealing with a lot of weapons in Chicago right now. So I think that kind of needs to be
Out
taken
of
with a
all
grain of
these
salt.
quarterbacks above him, he is in probably the worst situation.
Absolutely. But with the way he's been playing the last few weeks and the way he's kind of, quote unquote, been putting the team on his back, I'm taking Justin Fields. He's looking pretty good right now. He's not necessarily making a whole lot of mistakes. He has some here
I was
and
gonna say,
there.
if you did this like a week ago, you're definitely out on this guy. But the last couple weeks, he seems like he's putting it together.
No, and I think they're also scheming a little bit better to make him
Looks
look
like
a little bit better.
like they're actually letting him run the ball.
Yeah.
He's throwing it a little bit. Before, like, you only threw it like 18 times.
Yeah. Hey,
And then the last one here.
last one.
Sorry.
Okay.
Or do you have anyone else you want to add to this?
No, I was just gonna say real quick, adjust your mic or something because it's kind of making some noise. Technical difficulties. It happens.
Why are we good now?
Yeah, we're chilling. Big chilling.
My mic does that sometimes.
Next one.
The last pick, first round, was pick 15, New England Patriots. Sorry, Mac Jones from the Alabama team.
Look, I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. Mac Jones is not the guy.
Let me say this real quick. I don't know what these awards are, but he's a 2020 Davy O'Brien Award winner, the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award
Oh my
winner.
God, no way! That's crazy. I didn't realize that. No, but
I don't know what these awards are for, but
I'm
he has them.
I'm out on Mac Jones. Never been a fan. Never thought he was the guy. Put Bailey Zappi in. I'm just saying. Hot take. He's better. See what you got in him, because granted, he didn't look the greatest against that Monday night game against the Bears, but I think he's better than fucking Mac Jones. Is that all the quarterbacks we have in that class? Do we talk about Davis Mills? Is it even worth it? I'm out on him too. That guy fucking blows.
The only other picks in that class were Kyle Trask, backup for Florida, or Tampa, sorry. Keelan Mund, backup for Minnesota. David Mills.
Dog shit.
Ian Book, and then Sam Ellinger.
Yeah. Sam Ellinger looked decent on the Colts this week. But
I didn't really get to watch too much of them, so I'm not too sure.
Gotcha.
But again, like those are all these last 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks are all like backups pretty much.
100%.
Oh, sorry, except for Davis Mills, so
Davis
like 4.
Mills, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's my take right now on. I might be a little wishy-washy and go back and forth maybe in a year or two, but I doubt it. I think that's kind of where I'm sitting with these quarterbacks, and I'll ride with that.
Again, as of today, this is probably like the best you can do.
100%.
Like people say, like new information comes out, you make new assessments, and you go from there.
Yeah. Do you agree with my picks?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Trevor Lawrence, you're definitely in on. Zach Wilson, I'm out on. Trey Lance, if I don't know. Justin Fields, I'm probably out on Justin Fields until I see a bit more from him.
Okay.
Mac Jones, 100% out, and then that's it.
I feel you.
That's my quick breakdown.
Um,
But moving on here, are you ready to move on?
yeah, I was just going to talk about how we even got into bringing up these quarterbacks.
We can talk about it a little bit. You want to talk about that statement now then?
What? How you can't buy into the...
Yeah, you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, we might as well. We're talking about
Okay. You started us off then.
All right. So the reason this kind of got brought up when we turned this into a segment is, if you think about it, right? A lot of these quarterbacks lately, or a lot of these draft classes lately, there's been 1 or 2 guys that have just shot up the fucking draft board within the last few months.
Normally they're quarterbacks.
Normally quarterbacks, yeah. We're talking about quarterbacks when we say this. They just shoot up the last couple months on the draft boards and end up being a number 2 pick, a number 1 pick, a number 10 pick, whatever. Like, they just shoot up the board out of nowhere, and it's like...
They usually go from like what experts have them like 3rd, 4th round to like top 5, and it's like,
Yeah.
where
does it come from?
Like, where'd you come from?
And the reason we're saying this is because I think we need to stop if I were a GM or a franchise owner or whatever, if there's a guy that we're looking at drafting and we didn't really look into a whole lot a year ago, 6 months ago, and now all of a sudden we're studying him like a fucking book to see if we can draft him, something's wrong there. Why are we all of a sudden just now looking at him? The dude came from a nobody school. Like, I'm not saying that you have to be good in the league, you have to come from Alabama or something like that. I'm not saying that by any means, but a lot of the times these dudes that come from like BYU or places like that, you're sitting there thinking like, come on, man, what are we doing here? Why are you taking him number 2 overall? And it just boils
The guy
down.
plays fucking Army and Navy.
Yeah, like, what are we doing? Come on. So I just think we need to stop buying the hype on these guys late in the drafts process and pick who we actually think is good and who has shown up and shown what they can do on the field. Like, have these guys shown what they can do in college? Absolutely. But, again, stop believing the hype at the end of the day. Zach Wilson's been a bust, in my opinion. I know I've been so neutral, but I just don't think he's the guy anymore. I gave him as many chances as I could. Who else did we say, Nick?
I was gonna say like
yeah.
I feel like
Darnold's
another
insane.
reason too was that like why these GMs do it is because like they're just like I don't even know, like it's just like it's so weird. Like why would you do it? Like the guy just comes out of nowhere and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna buy into his hype. Like just because the media says so. It's usually around the time too, like what is it, like April? No, they draft in April. So like when is the combine?
It's only in like March.
The draft combine. Because that's usually whenever you see like a guy out of nowhere like shows up in shorts and t-shirt, throws the ball, and like, wow, that guy looks like a 2nd overall pick, Craig. I don't know what school that guy went to. Like, went to fucking CJ State. Where the fuck is that, Craig?
Let's
Fuck, that
put our
guy's playing,
franchise in his hands.
Let's take this guy with the second overall pick. Like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, I don't get it. Like, you've been studying all the like Trevor Lawrence, all these other guys, and it's like out of nowhere, like a guy like Mac Jones shows up. Like, I don't know. But what we said, we went back for like the first or the last 4 years for our draft classes here because this is the best that we can remember as well. So you had Zach Wilson was like a guy that without a doubt came out of nowhere, out of BYU.
Yeah, and this is just real quick. This is our opinions on like we think they came out of nowhere. Like we didn't hear a whole lot about them in college, and then all of a sudden draft process comes up and they're projected.
You already know there's gonna be some weirdo on the keyboard saying like, "Oh, fucking
no, 100%.
This guy's." I knew
That's
about
why
him.
I had to clarify that.
You're not a football fan.
Yeah.
Like, by the end of the day, it's like the media talks about like all these other guys and like Zach Wilson. I'd never heard about him until draft day, basically.
Yep.
Trey Lance, we were kind of neutral on it. I don't remember a lot about him, but he might have been up there. And then Mac Jones for sure was like a third string Alabama quarterback.
Like he was talked about because he went to Alabama. Like people knew.
That's
who
what I'm saying.
Was,
he's talked about
because
he played for the most popular team, but
I don't think
for
he
being drafted
been...
in the first round,
Yep.
definitely not. For considering he only started 1 year.
100%.
You move on to the 2020 draft class. Justin Herbert. Now that I'm thinking about it, honestly, was one of those guys too.
He was, yep.
He was talked about a little bit. But he was really brought up on like draft day. There was talks that maybe the Dolphins should have taken him. There's talks that maybe even the Bengals might have take him. So I can't speak English right now. Jordan Love, a huge one.
Yep.
Again, wasted pick in our opinion. We talked about him multiple times. I've never heard of him ever until then.
Yeah, me neither.
You go back to 2019. The biggest one that stands out is Washington. This was the Redskins at the time. It was Dwayne Haskins. He got picked first round, 15th overall.
Rest in
peace. Had like rest in peace, that guy. He had like a 50 touchdown season, I think it was, at Ohio State.
Yeah, he had a good season.
Basically, like, secured his spot in the league because of that. By the end of the day, you see how it worked out. Wish he would have had a chance, though, this season to maybe change that. But again, rest in peace. And then if we go back to the one before that, it was 2018. This is our last one that we're going to cover. Baker Mayfield. We talked about him.
Yeah. As much as I'm a fan of Baker, but kind of one of those
we were
ones
both
that
fans
shot
of Baker in college, but like he definitely got shot up from 1 year. Again, Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Josh Allen. This was a big one as well. Again, Josh Allen, we've listed on here. Justin Herbert listed on here. Both guys look like they could be really good. Obviously, Josh Allen looks like an MVP player, so...
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be hype, and it's going to work out.
But I'm just saying, like, these are guys that were unknown.
Yep.
Like, you see, we have two guys out of how many that we listed already so far. Two of them have been good.
Yeah.
Versus, again, what? 10? Like 7, 8 guys, that are bad? Like, that's not a good hit rate.
No, not at all. And again, these are guys that are unknown to us, and not so much unknown to us, but also, like... You didn't hear a whole lot about it in college, and then all of a sudden you heard about them when the draft process came up, and they started to kind of shoot up draft boards. And I know everybody's out there always trying to find their franchise quarterback, so sometimes you got to take chances. Like, I get it, but again, like to waste the number 2 overall pick or number 1 overall pick, like you got to be sure about this guy. And I feel like lately there's been a lot of guys that just shoot up the draft board, and then here they are in the league, and you just look at it and you're like, wow, you shouldn't have done that, should you have? You know what I mean? Like, you're regretting that decision. Again.
At the end of the day, it's like, I have no doubt that there's definitely guys that do their homework and they try and do it, but they took the chance and it didn't work out, and I respect it. But at the same time, you guys are paid millions of dollars to do something and to at the end of the day, to basically get wins. That's your job. Doesn't matter if you're the coach, doesn't matter if you're the trainer, you're the head coach, the OC, the GM, the owner. Like, you want to win. Doesn't matter what job you do.
You would think if two dudes like us are kind of quote unquote noticing this trend, why are they not? You know what I mean? Like something's got to give when it comes to GMs and owners and whatever you want to call it. Like, how are they not noticing this? You know what I mean? Stop buying the hype. That's all it is at the end of the day, in my opinion. Again, these dudes could end up working out. Some of them, a lot of them haven't so far. So it's like, you gotta look at the history at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, That's all it is for me.
All right. The one I can think of too, that's another one that wasn't a quarterback, is Larry Tunsil. He was projected to go like first overall.
I think he's worked out though.
No. I'm not like hating on. I'm just saying that was like one that was like super like hyped up. Excuse me, and like I never even like really ever heard of him. And then obviously we had the whole bong debacle, and then he fell only to 13.
That was funny as shit.
That was one of the wildest draft nights I've ever I've ever seen. Literally a guy projected to go first overall, boom, drops all the 13 because of a weed video. Like that was crazy.
That was crazy. All right, so breaking down, we talked about it last week. Last episode we recorded somewhat at the beginning of this Patriots-Bears game, Week 7. We'll break it down real quick. We both picked the Patriots on this game. Patriots got fucking smoked. The second drive, third drive, they had already put Bailey Zapp in, and Mac Jones didn't play another snap. So, I mean, I don't know. Bears came to play that game, I guess. They just put it on them.
The weird thing, too, was that I remember the sideline reporter was talking to Bill, and he was saying that it was going to go back to two. They're going to split snaps, and it was going to be a two-quarterback kind of setup.
Yeah.
But he didn't even play again, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened there.
I think Bill Belichick's in shambles still. That Tom Brady's gone. He's still fucking flustered. And he's trying to figure out who the guy is. And I think he's starting to realize Mac Jones isn't the guy. And I think that's why
I hope so.
Yeah. He's got to have some sort of sense to that, right?
I think so. I think Bailey Zappi, like we talked about, he gives him a better chance to win now than
I think so.
Mac Jones. Like, again, Mac Jones is not showing improvements. Like, that's the biggest thing to me.
Last year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like these guys are talented and all that, but when you get figured out in the league, it's so hard to like adapt almost. You know what I mean?
Because you're so used to playing one way.
Lamar would always start off good. Like, he had his MVP season, he started off good, and then he starts falling down a little bit. He starts falling off a little bit, then he goes back to playing the bad teams. He pops back up on your radar, like, oh, he's playing really good again. And it's like, you got to be consistent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the big thing to me. It's like, even Kyle Murray, he's another one that I can think of off the top of my head that he has his moments where he shines and he fucking falls down, falls off.
Yeah.
And it's like Mac Jones, in my opinion, has been fucking awful.
Just like
almost just as bad as fucking Zach Wilson has been.
Yeah.
Like, Zach Wilson's been literally a fucking hill. Not even a hill, just like a fucking
slope downwards. Or
like
just
a black hole.
at the very bottom.
Like,
the black hole.
Like, it didn't even like exist.
Yeah. So starting off with Week 8, you were talking about Lamar just now. I want to point out something with Lamar. I know I'm a fan of Lamar. I've said it before. You know I'm a fan of Lamar. So I kind of defend him a little bit more than I probably should. With that being said, you're absolutely right. He has been kind of figured out, been up and down. Teams game plan against him. They figured out some games you'll see him do his thing. Some game he won't. But I think something needs to be said about the play calling in Baltimore. Because this game on Thursday night, Ravens at Buccaneers, the first half of the game, Lamar threw the ball like 31 times. It's Lamar Jackson.
Talk about it.
Why are we throwing the ball 31 times?
You don't throw the ball 60 times a game, you ain't gonna win.
Yeah, so it's like they realized that, and they came out and he threw the ball 8 times in the second half, Nick. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the second half. And they ended up winning the game in the second half. So it's like something, I don't know. I think, and again, this is the first game I've noticed something like that, so it just is crazy to me. And we've said it before, they like to go for it on fourth downs too many times, and it costs them, like, just take your fucking points and move on. That bites them in the ass so many fucking times. And a lot of that, bro, I feel like we need to put the blame on Lamar for that. Because if you watch these games, you'll look at it, and Lamar is literally waving both hands towards the sidelines to get the players off the field so that they can go for it on fourth down. And we saw it last year where John Harbaugh was mic'd up or whatever, and he was like, "You want to go for it?" And Lamar was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right, let's go for it." Like, to me, your player, like, yes, you can have trust in your player, and he help you make those decisions sometimes. But at the end of the day, you're the fucking head coach. You tell that man to get off the fucking field and let your best kicker in the league kick a field goal and take the points.
Almost basically the best kicker.
Yeah.
If not, like, second best kicker in his NFL
In
history.
history, yeah. So it's like...
Right behind Adam Vinatieri. Like.
Yeah, so with that being, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think John Harbaugh is, like, scared to put his foot down against Lamar. And,
How
like,
are you
lets
scared
him...
when you're in fucking Super Bowl MVP
I don't know.
coach? Like,
I think he just loves Lamar so much, and like we've said before, he's built his offense around
you know
Lamar.
what? You know what? Is this a hot take? Maybe he's trying to fucking cater to him, pander to him, because he's on a contract year.
Yeah, but he's done this even when he's not on a contract year. We saw it
You know
last
what?
year.
You know what? I'm gonna say right now, Harbaugh's big braining it. He told the GM, "Don't fire me because I'm telling Lamar you do Lamar. This is the quarterback you drafted me." That's
This
what he's
is
saying.
what he wants.
That's what I'm saying. He put his hands on his head and says, he's looking up at the booth and he said, "I didn't do it."
What do you want me to do?
He's like, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it."
Starts pointing at Lamar.
That's what I'm saying. He's just saying, "I didn't do it."
You may
It's
be
Lamar.
right. I mean, I could see that. Yeah, because like you said, I mean...
Maybe this is their way of throwing Lamar to the wolves and say, "Are you worth the money or not?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Throw
Maybe
him
I'm
a bone.
overthinking it, but that's my thought.
I like the take. I do like the take.
That's personally my thing. Like my thought process. Like they're just like, "Fuck it, you
Yeah.
either you're worth the money or not." Like.
But, yeah, I just wanted to point out real quick, the play calling in Baltimore is just iffy sometimes, I feel like, as a whole. I think Ravens' identity is built around running the ball, and I think it hasn't helped that
It's
their
always been
running
around
backs,
running and fucking defense.
Yeah, like, their running backs have been injured the last 2 years, so it's hard because they haven't had that guy. But even when J.K. Dobbins was back for the couple weeks he is, like, they still didn't seem like they wanted to feed him because I know he's still dealing with an injury. Like, he's out already. Gus Edwards comes back. They feed him that one game. They win. And then...
Real quick, Nathan, were you even born when you played?
Probably not. Nathan
Like,
says
what year is Nathan born?
Everyone forgets about Sebastian Janikowski. I'm sorry, I'm taking Justin Tucker over him.
How old is he?
90.
No, I know, I know who he is, but I know Nathan was probably not around when he was playing.
Nathan was probably fucking... Nathan is, what, 16, 17 now? So, he probably remembers his very old years.
All I know is he's a GOAT. Fucking a kicker got drafted in the first round. Probably never see that ever again.
Now teams get fucking laughed at when they draft a kicker at all. The Browns got clowned for drafting a kicker this year.
I'm not okay if it's like a 6th or 7th round pick,
Yeah,
but like
they drafted him in the 4th.
A first round pick for a kicker, that was wild. That was wild.
Yeah. But on the other side of the ball, Buccaneers, Brady. Call Giselle back. Tell her you want to come back. Just end it now, dude. You're making yourself look bad. I was on the fence, Nick, about trying to say that it was not a good offensive line. He's dealing with a little bit more. He's dealing with the off-the-field issues. And I think that's still in his head, yes.
I mean, the divorce got settled on Friday.
Nick, I watched that game. There was like 3-4 throws that I've seen Tom Brady make a million times that he was missing. He missed a wide open Mike Evans in the end zone. Was like 3 feet to the left of him. Like, I don't know. The dude's just not playing well.
I mean, fuck. He hasn't been playing well all year.
No, I mean, I agree.
Fucking Jesus. He's been fucking dog shit.
Yeah. Definitely not been good. That was the Thursday night game. So next we got Sunday, the London game. Nick was asleep the whole time during this game. I messaged him about the game, and he was like, dude, I just woke up. Here it was like 20 minutes after the kickoff of the noon games. This guy's just now waking up. Not dedicated enough, Nick. We need to figure that out.
Busy weekend.
Nah, I'm fucking with you.
I'll
Broncos.
tell you what. I remember one play from this game. I woke up, and it was right before halftime. Well,
God.
He threw the Hail Mary.
Oh, the Hail Mary.
No, he threw it was like a Hail Mary. Threw it to like absolutely nobody, and I was like, I'm going back to sleep. I can't watch it. I said it's not even worth my time.
That's funny as fuck. Russell Wilson had a couple good plays in this game. I still think he's
the Russell
fucking
Wilson of
washed.
old? Oh, okay.
He started to look like it, but I'm not gonna fucking make any assumptions. The Jaguars, man, just and I know this is
I
gonna
did
sound
see
crazy,
a quote
Nick.
about Trevor Lawrence saying that he needs to play better.
He does. He's not playing that good. He's playing good enough, but he does need to play better. He threw a pick at like the 1 yard line in the second quarter. That was kind of bad. He rolled out and was like trying to. Granted, I don't know if you saw the guy, and the defensive guy just made a good play and was kind of hiding behind the D line, and he rolled out to the right and tried to hit one of his targets in the back of the end zone, and dude just jumped up in the air and picked it. Good play, but I think you got to see that guy, Trevor. But he definitely needs to play better. Hear me out, Nick. You remember last year we talked about the Vikings? They couldn't win close games.
One second.
What?
I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, the Ravens played the Buccaneers. I was like, did I even watch that game? And I was like, I did not because I was on a train going.
Yeah, I don't think you watched it.
So I didn't even watch any of it. I was like, wait, did I was like, they played. I was like, I don't remember watching that game.
This fucking guy.
Yeah, continue. What were you saying about the Vikings?
You remember how we talked about last year the Vikings struggled to win these close games, and that's why their record reflected that. Hear me out, and I know I'm kind of a little Jaguars hype man here and there just because I like some of their players, right? I don't think this year the Jaguars are going to do anything. Clearly, they're 2-6. They're not going to be there, right? I think next year...
I don't think you can compare them to the Vikings, though.
No, I'm not.
Considering this was literally a team with a first overall pick back-to-back years now.
I'm considering them in the sense
maybe
of
even... They might even three-peat, Craig.
No, it's
Three-peat first overall picks. Is that... Has that ever been done before? Producer, check that out.
I don't know. I think that producer...
That would be fucking... That'd be fucking wild.
Texans
3 in a row.
Texans or Lions got that one on lock this year.
But who else? Isn't it the Saints? The Saints are up there too, aren't they? Let me find out. You keep talking. I'll find out.
The Saints are up there, Nick. But you know who has their first round draft pick? The Eagles have it. Yeah. So, they're at like 5th, or they were at 4th at the beginning of the weekend. I think they probably dropped down to like 10th or something now. But no, I'm not comparing like the Jaguars and the Vikings, their rosters and shit like the same, or the team the same at all, because they're not.
Oh, you forgot about the Dan Campbell led Detroit Lions Tank Bowl.
That's what I said. The Lions are the Texans. I'm comparing them in the sense of how the Vikings couldn't win close games last year, and then this year they're starting to win these close games now. The Jaguars are a couple wins away from being 500, and then those couple wins they could have got were one-score possessions. So I feel like if they can figure out how to win those games next year, we could see a potential Jaguars being not like contenders, but you know what I mean, being competitive at the end of the day. Because there's been a lot of games that were close that they could have won, but they just either choked or didn't end up winning. You know what I mean? So I feel like next year we could see them make that switch like the Vikings kind of did this year, how the Vikings are winning all their close games now. And I feel like we could probably see that with the Jaguars next year.
I mean, it's possible. They definitely have a nice few key pieces on their team.
Yeah, they got some
like,
talent.
I don't hate the players that they added in the offseason.
I think they paid
like
a couple
Christian
of them
Kirk.
too much, but
yeah, I mean, but that's just free agency.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Panthers game, that was wild,
dude.
It was like I don't know what it was, like a 67, 63 yard pass.
Dude, he threw that ball like 70 yards. That was a fucking bomb out of the kid. That's why I'm saying PJ Walker is nasty. Before we break this game down, Nick, is it DJ Moore's fault or is it the kicker's fault?
100% DJ Moore's fault. You don't take your helmet off the field.
Okay.
An extra point that's like, what, 30, 25 yards turned into like a 45-yard kick? Like, that's not...
I agree. I think it's a stupid
he should
rule,
kick
though.
it. He should kick it at the end of the day. He has to kick that. But at the same time, DJ Moore...
He shouldn't have been put in that position.
Yeah, like...
I think that's a stupid rule.
That's just a stupid penalty. Like,
yeah, he shouldn't have done it.
I get it. He's hyped, but like...
Yeah, step off the field and take your helmet off. Fuck.
Yeah, like... At the end of the day, it's a penalty.
But with that being said, the kicker for the Panthers had a 33-yard chance.
He had a chance to redeem himself.
And didn't either. So I just want to point out real quick, if Zane was healthy, shout out Zane, he would have hit both of those kicks. Built different. But yeah, this game,
Well,
Nick.
I mean, your math's not adding up there, Craig.
What do you mean?
If he hits the first one, he wouldn't have to hit the second one.
Leave me alone. Leave me the fuck alone. It's midnight, bro. Fuck off.
All I'm gonna say is, I just yeah, I'm delirious on this fucking podcast. It's 1:19 a.m. I remember I was watching this game and or watching the red zone highlights, and I just remember seeing, what's his name, Marcus Mariota just like running down the field for like a 40-yard game. I mean, it was like 30, 40 yards. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on right now?
Marcus Mariota of old, I guess.
That's what I'm saying. Like, fucking, this dude just ran out of nowhere. Like,
This game was just crazy.
oh, and Devontae Foreman. Like, that dude popped the fuck off, bro.
Bro, that guy is something
He had like
different.
33, 34 fantasy points like that. Insane.
Not only that, did you see the runs he was doing? Like,
And I had him on my bench.
I had him on my bench in like 3 of my leagues, Nick. Don't feel bad. No, but like the runs he was pulling off, like he was angry running all over the place. Like he was trying to run to secure that number 1 role. Which
Yeah, I mean, he
feel
made
like
the most
has.
of Hubbard out, so.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that backfield. I think Foreman's got to be the guy. He's the better natural runner. I think you need to use Hubbard as like a receiving back, change of pace kind of guy, but I think Foreman's a better runner. The Falcons keep squeaking wins out somehow. Like 4-4, nobody expected.
That's what happens when you play the toilet bowls, you know?
Oh, 100%. What's crazy is if the Panthers won this game, they would have been in first place. Now they're all the way at the bottom in last place. Crazy. Crazy how the world works.
Just how it works, I guess.
It was a good, fun game to watch, though. I feel like it lasted forever.
That's what I'm saying. Some of those toilet bowl games can be just fun to watch because they're so bad that they make bad plays and then they make good plays.
100%. Next, we have the Bears at the Cowboys. This score is a little lopsided. The Bears were in it at one point, but they did get slaughtered. They started to show up as the Bears, but they were kind of hanging around for a bit. I thought
I saw on Red Zone, I saw, what was his name? Dak Prescott missed a few throws, whatever. They showed it. And next thing you know, boom, they come back. Dak Prescott already had the ball again. I'm like, okay, he scored. And then fucking, that's when it started kicking off the scoring fest. And then the Bears started driving back on them. And then it was like a Micah Parsons fumble. I think it was their sack, something like that. Like it went all the way back for a touchdown.
Dude, Micah Parsons he rushed the passer, Fields threw the ball, the receiver fumbled it. Micah Parsons came all the way from the line of scrimmage, recovered the fumble, was on the ground with the ball. Nobody touched him. Justin Fields jumps over Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons gets up and runs it into the end zone. All Justin Fields had to do was fucking clip him with a foot as he jumps over him or fucking tap him, and the dude's down right there. Granted, they probably still would have scored, but dude runs back a fucking touchdown. Micah Parsons does. And you literally can see Justin Fields just hurtling over Micah Parsons on the ground. Funniest shit ever. Unfortunate for them, but funny as fuck. Cowboys slaughtered them. This is probably a good confidence game.
3 TDs, I think. I think I've seen it being talked. I think Tony Power's got to be given the starting role. I don't care what you're paying Zeke at this point.
He's got to, but he won't.
Oh, I know. They Jerry
love
Jones.
Zeke. Yeah, he loves Zeke. And
it's not that they love Zeke. It's just Jerry Jones.
Him so much.
It's Jerry Jones is one of those guys that if you paid the guy the money, he has to play type of like vibe. So it's like Jerry Jones is going to be playing him, and I'm sure that's a delight for fucking NFC East fans because I think Zeke's done. He just doesn't look good in my opinion. You know what I mean?
The eye test.
Even last year, he didn't look that good.
If you're just watching, if you're not looking at any stats and you're just watching when Zeke carries the ball versus when Pollard carries the ball, Pollard looks so light years ahead of Zeke. Like Zeke just looks slow, not explosive. Just like
that's the thing I've noticed. Is like he's like that point now. Is like those power backs, like the big guys, the volume carry guys are just done. They're done. You know what I mean?
Derrick Henry's the only one that keeps going somehow. Somebody needs to test that man.
Like I actually just saw like last week or this. I think it was last week. the Rams running back, Todd Gurley, retired. And he was like
Yeah.
a big power back, fucking
Yep.
volume guy, got the ball how many times a
A
game.
lot.
One, like, literally was like, I remember people were saying, like, he was like one of the greatest MVP fantasy players of all time, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's
that
how
year he
Zeke
had-
was early in his career. They just fed
and that's what I'm
him
saying.
the
Like,
ball.
they just keep feeding them, and it's like, they're now at the point in their careers where it's like, their wheels are falling off of them.
Yeah.
The wear on the tires is done. Like, how old is he? Let me Google that.
He's not that old, surprisingly. I mean, I think he's probably like 27, 28, which I guess is old in running back years, but you would think he would still have some more gas left in the tank, but he just doesn't, man. Like, like I said, the eye test, like, Pollard just looks
He's
so much
27.
better.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, he's almost at the age where it's like, they start falling off. I'd say like 30, but
Yeah, running
Todd
backs
Gurley.
fall out pretty quick.
Todd Gurley is how old? Todd Gurley is 28 and he already retired.
Yeah.
So maybe the
Granted-
age is now moving up to 27 with the way these guys are getting
Yeah.
the ball. You gotta
Um,
think, even in college, these guys are carrying the ball that much too. So it's like that adds
lot of
even
them.
more on.
And that's what people are worried about with, like, Breece Hall. He carried the ball a lot in college. So they're worried about his longevity in the NFL with that. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, I would not be surprised, Nick. I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like it needs to happen if they tried to trade away Zeke in the offseason. I don't think nobody's going to want him. But
Let's look at his contract. Let's see.
you got to do something.
How long is this shit? Wait, where is it? Here we go. He got paid a 6-year, $90 million contract.
God
Only
damn.
Jerry Jones. Why is this website not loading?
I remember that contract being bad, but I don't remember it being that bad. Holy shit. And that's still, like, he's probably still got 4 years left on that thing. They're never getting rid of him. Nobody wants that contract. They're going to have to cut him and then pay him as he's a free agent. That's the only way they get out of that.
Okay, here we go. I got it. So he signed a 6-year, $90 million deal. $7.5 million signing bonus, 50 guaranteed. So his average salary is 15 mil.
Oh, that's ugly for a running back, man.
He signed it at the age of... Oh, wait, sorry. So he signed it... Did he just sign it? Wait, when did he sign it? What year?
Recent.
Does it not tell me? Wait, he didn't sign it back in 2019, did he? No, one.
Well, let me just throw this out there.
So he might be signed at last year, maybe it was?
I think so. Derrick Henry's
So
contract.
he signed all the way till 2026. Well, he will be 31. And then he'll be a free agent at the age of 32.
That's crazy. Derrick Henry's contract is only a 4-year, $50 million contract.
That's what I'm saying. He paid 4
and he's
years.
10 times better than Zeke, in my opinion.
And he's at 6 years. Like,
Yeah, and they did it for 4 years because they know Henry's 28. They're not going to sign this man for another 6 years and keep him till he's fucking 32. Like,
that's the thing.
I mean,
like,
34. Like,
what the fuck?
what are the Cowboys thinking? Like, I knew that. Again, I remember that.
Oh, it's
that contract
2019.
being
So he
bad.
signed. Oh, so he did sign it back then. Oh, so he must have added it on top of his rookie contract then. That's why I did. Okay, that makes
Gotcha.
sense. I was gonna say he signed for like 8 years. That doesn't make sense. Well, look at it over here. It says
So
over
it was
here he signed
on
it
top
back.
of his.
Yeah,
So he's probably
he signed it for
technically
6
still
years.
on his rookie deal. Like, this
No,
might be
he's
the
not
first
now.
year of
Not
his
now,
new
no.
deal.
No. He's been off the rookie deal.
Yeah, that might be a tough contract to unload, though, either way. I don't think
It's
they can
gonna
do
be
much
no.
with
It
him.
is.
No, it is.
It's
Yeah,
done.
they would be.
The only way
They're just stuck with him.
they can get rid of him is next year. It says right here next year they can cut him after 4 years for 11.86 million and dead cap.
That might be your best bet, low key, bro.
That's
'cause
literally the only way you're gonna get rid of him.
either that or you're just gonna continue to have to start him, bro, and that just doesn't look the best. But moving on, we got the Dolphins at the Lions. This game scared me for a second. I'm sure it did for you, Nick. Lions were up like 14-0 at the beginning. I'm just saying.
Have no fear.
Tua's here. Tyreek Hill is here? Yo.
No, it's not that. Actually, I've been talking about it with Janine a lot about how when I watched the Dolphins of old, I was always like, there's like 3rd and 19, like here comes a run play, we ain't gonna get it.
Bill O'Brien type offense.
Yeah, Adam Gase, they went to the same college, don't
Yeah.
worry about it. I actually don't know if that's true, but it seems like it. Anyway,
Seems like it.
So like basically this season, that narrative for me has completely stopped. I'm like 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 19, 3rd and 20. I'm like, I expect it. We're gonna get it. And it's like it's a good feeling to have. And I'm not sure if that's how other Dolphin fans feel or how Chief fans feel all the time, but that's how I feel this season. I'm like, we're 3rd and 19. I'm like, we still have a shot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Even then, like you probably saw. I don't know. Did you actually watch this game?
I
Or were
saw
you
the
just
bits
watching,
and
like, Red
pieces
Zone?
on Red Zone. But
Yeah,
they
okay,
scored
so
a
what
lot,
you
so they
saw-
kept going back and forth.
Yeah, so what you saw was that they probably went up 1400. Like, oh shit, like this game's gonna get it. What happened though was first drive the Lions scored.
Yep.
First drive for the Dolphins, they drive down the field just as easy as the Lions did, but Buddy fumbles the ball.
Yeah.
So then the Lions then go back, score again. Now it's 14-0. Like, but then, like I said, I had faith in the offense. The offense was just cruising against the Detroit defense. I expected our defense to play better, but at the same time, this game kind of played out how it kind of should play out because in
Yeah.
the sense is the Lions had before Swift went out, they had like what was it, the best offense, wasn't it?
They were averaging like 31 points a game.
That's what I'm
33,
saying. Like so,
something
27.
crazy.
The first game, St. Brown comes back and Swift comes back. They put up 27. Like
Yeah.
that's literally what I expect.
100%.
Like that's how the Lions have been playing. But at the same time, our defense, literally shut them down for 67 yards in the second half.
Yep.
Like you literally didn't do anything that whole second half.
Which is kind of the story for the Lions this year. Like, just a lot of up and downs. Like, good players, good pieces, cool plays happening on the field. Like, but just so up and down. Like, not consistent enough. Yeah.
I think the Dolphins. This is probably honestly Tua's best game of his career. It's hard to say
That
it's his
Ravens
best
game was
because the
nice.
Ravens one.
Yeah.
The Ravens game is going to be his best because it was 6 TDs.
Yeah.
But this is like his most perfect game. Like I think he missed 7 throws in total. He threw the ball like 30 times, Craig, and still completed like he missed 7 of them. He had like 80% completion percentage, like 383 yards and like 3 TDs.
Yeah.
Should have been 4 TDs.
So here's my only thing, Nick, and there was a couple plays that I saw that the ball was a little underthrown, and I feel like if it wasn't underthrown, it would have been a touchdown. Like there was a
The
couple
thing
plays
is, though,
thrown to
on those plays
Tyreek.
that you're talking about, there's a safety at the top.
No, I know that. Like
You can't just bomb that and expect him to catch it with a safety over the top.
there
That's
was
the
one
problem.
play specifically where Tyreek had to come back to the ball, and the safety was like behind him with the corner, and Tyreek had to come back to the ball.
Is
And I
that the
feel
one he
like
jumped
if-
up on it?
I think so. I feel like if Tyreek would have, or if Tua could have thrown that farther, Tyreek would have been in the end zone. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's so hard to tell when
no,
there's literally
100%.
safeties on the
Yeah.
field as well.
And you can't see, like, when you're watching, you literally see the side view. So it's not like I can see what he's seeing. So absolutely, there's a safety there. You know what I mean? Like, I get that 100%. And you got to put it where your guy can get it, and it's a better play. You know what I mean? I just know that, like I said, just specifically that one play that popped up into my mind, but absolutely one of his best games of the career. Like you said, I think I'd give it to the Ravens game because of 6 TDs, but I mean, he played great. I think the Dolphins are what, 5-0 with Tua this season, or 4-0 or something like that. Like
when he finishes games, they're 5-0, I think.
Yeah, the Dolphins just look so much more dynamic and so much better with Tua under center. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy how you can be like. It's just crazy how you can be night and day like that. Like I know a lot of teams are the same way, but it's just good to see that out of Tua, what he's been through and all the hate he gets at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And especially a lot of the hate he was getting at the beginning of the season.
I mean, the guy still gets hate. He put up a game like that, and people still won't give this guy credit.
No,
At the end of the day,
100%.
I'm already convinced that this is just racially motivated type of shit. I don't know if you ever watch F1. but
Sometimes my dad watches
it's
it.
it's a very like European British driven sport,
Yeah.
which is mostly white men.
Hmm.
And there's a guy of the name of Sir Lewis Hamilton who's a
Just
black.
dominates everything. Yeah.
He is a black British driver, and he literally has the most, is tied for most championships, has the most race wins, has the most points. Like every stat you want, he basically has it. But yeah, people still say he's not the GOAT. It's the same thing with what I'm not saying Tua's the GOAT or
No.
anything, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely comparing the situations of you have Tua who is quote unquote not a franchise quarterback, but then you got guys like Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson that have all the hype and potential in the world. It makes no sense to me at this point. I just honestly, I laugh at tweets at this point. I don't even say anything. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just at the point. I'm convinced that you will never be satisfied. Like the bar is always moving.
I
Oh,
don't
he
see
did this
how.
against the Ravens. He did this against the Lions. Blah blah blah. He did it against the injured Bills. Like it's always the same thing I see with these people that talk.
I think my
And I'm
thing
just like,
is
I don't know. It's just like it's whatever at this point.
what I like to do is I like to compare dudes from same draft classes, right? And Tua and Jalen Hurts are from the same draft class, right? Jalen Hurts has made the step this year and is doing great things, is playing well, and everybody's already saying he's a franchise quarterback. And then you got Tua here on the other side, who's had some unfortunate things happen this season with the injuries, and is still made that next step, and is still making his team 10 times more dynamic than they were in previous years, and is just looking great. And people don't want to give him the label of franchise quarterback. Like, it just blows my mind at the end of the day because, like I said a second ago, the team just looks so much more dynamic and so much better when he's on the field. Like, you really can't say much else about it, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how you just on two different
It's
sides
night
of
and day
it.
different
You know what I mean?
between this season when we had Teddy Bridgewater play and then we had Skylar Thompson play, and even last season we had
Oh yeah,
fucking Jacoby Brissett play, and both of them looked so bad in comparison to Tua.
yeah. And Tua just looks so much better. Like, he's playing great, and he's. I heard a stat. It was either QBR or accuracy or something, and Tua's like number one in, like, and it just.
He has
And
the highest QBR,
yeah, I think
and
that's
he
what it
has
was.
the highest
QBR.
yards per attempt in the league.
Yeah.
And
So,
he's
I
like,
mean,
he's up there in completion percentage. He's up there in touchdowns. He's up there in.
and let's.
I think I saw that he's projected on pace. He's on like pace for like 5 interceptions, 33 TDs, and like 4.9K yards. I think it was.
Which is crazy because he's missed 3 games essentially. Like, that's just nuts to think about. And I mean, how are we going to sit here and say that Tyreek Hill is projected to have a 2,000-yard season and we're not hyping up the quarterback? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to me. He has.
Not only is it just Tyreek, but
Yeah.
Waddle, I think, is supposed to have like a
1,600 yards. Yeah, like, that's crazy, man.
Literally on pace to have the best wide receiver duo in the league history. And
Yeah. And the dude that's throwing him the ball is not getting hyped up.
Yeah. Don't worry, Craig. Anyone can play quarterback and do it if they have Tyreek, apparently.
Especially Zach Wilson, right?
Yeah.
All right, next we got Cardinals at the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings just keep dominating. Like, the Cardinals look a lot better with D-Hop, like we've said over and over again. Like, they're getting better as a team. But the Vikings, I think, were just too much for them. Kyler made some mistakes.
I think the Vikings are like the. It's actually funny. I saw one of the like sport bets things said Kyler's 0-1 went out with new Call of Duty.
Oh, it's
like,
gonna keep going.
Yeah, it's just gonna keep going. But like I said, like we've been saying, the Vikings are probably the. You can argue second. It was arguable, but now obviously with the Giants losing,
Yeah,
you can like certainly put them at second now.
I'm not gonna lie, they made me a little nervous when they played the Eagles. It made me second guess, but I think they figured it out.
I think it was just one of those bad weeks, you know.
And again, prime time.
That was still early. What was that? Only like week? Maybe
week 2.
It 3?
Week 2, I think. Yeah.
That's still like you got to figure out the system and stuff like that.
100%.
It looks like they're cooking now though, like 6-1.
I'll say one thing. I think the difference is those first like 3 weeks they were trying to do a Cooper Kupp style offense where you just feed one guy, and
Yeah.
I don't think it was really working for them, which sucks as a Justin Jefferson fan and want to see him get as many opportunities as possible. But they've started to really reincorporate Adam Thielen, and it's
That is
starting to
true.
pay dividend. It's starting to pay dividends in my eyes. Like they're actually being dynamic, and it's helping Jefferson get open a little bit more. Like it's just their offense just looks a lot better, and their defense is getting some takeaways and playing well as well.
Like we've talked about, Craig, we talked about this team multiple times. Like you got Irv Smith, obviously he's got a little banged up now. You got Dalvin Cook. You got Kirk Cousins, who again we think was underrated. I still think he's underrated.
Yeah,
And then you got Adam Thielen, and then you got Justin Jefferson. Like there's no way you can't find ways to get someone open at some point.
100%.
It's the same thing when I watch the Dolphins play. And I watched Tua with like all these weapons. I'm like, there's just no way someone's not open. Like, there's just no fucking way.
Yeah, you just find it hard to believe with the talent. Like, there's no way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not comparing them like that, but like you have Tyreek, you have Waddle, and then you have Mike Gesicki, and then you even have checkdowns with Raheem Mostert, right?
Yeah.
Like, some point someone's gonna be open somewhere, and it's the same thing with the Vikings. Like, they just have those star-powered players that it's like at some point. Kirk Cousins has somewhere to go with the ball at some point in the game.
Yeah.
He should have someone
even,
open somewhere. Like,
even then, they got that nice little third string wide receiver, KJ Osborne, who's done pretty good in the past and still continues to be somewhat of a threat. You know what I mean? Like, so that helps when you just have guys that continue to prove and be good. You know what I mean? Like we said at the beginning of the year, we think they're going to be one of the better teams in the league this year, and it's starting to really show. I'm excited to keep watching them do what they're doing. You know what I mean? 6-1 is a really good start.
I don't remember if we had them winning the division. I think we did, didn't we?
I think we both said. I think at the end of the
back
day,
and look at it.
at the end of the day, we both I think said fuck it. We're gonna have them taking the division, but we could see them squeaking in as a wild card too. I think, but yeah, no.
Because there were some toss-ups with the Eagles. I remember the Eagles won.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I just hit my knee. I remember the Eagles won. The Vikings won. Dolphins won. I didn't say it was a toss-up, but I definitely said I could see the Dolphins making a push. That's the only ones I can think off the top of my head. AFC South, maybe. I think we had the Colts.
Yeah, we had I had the Titans, and then, or I don't know. We'll revisit that.
I have to look back at it.
But yeah, I mean the Vikings 6-1 start. Probably absolutely the favorites to win the division right now. The way the Packers are playing. But we'll see what happens.
There's no way they
that.
don't win a division. No,
Yeah.
There's just no shot.
I just want to shout out D-Hop again real quick. Everybody thought this man was just washed, and I've seen so many TikTok videos on. They talk about top 5, top 10 wide receivers in the league, and nobody mentioned DeAndre Hopkins, and it just fucking blows my mind, man. Like the criticism this guy gets, like the man gets injured for the first time in his career. Nick misses 6 games last season, 8 games, whatever it was. Then unfortunately gets suspended the first 6 games of this year, and everybody fucking forgot about the dude. I don't know, just criminal to me. Just criminal. I don't get it. Did you see that play this weekend? Dude's disgusting. The DeAndre Hopkins catch in the end zone. A dude like one hand grabbed it, just completely covered. Murray throws the ball and he fucking one hand catches it. Like just nasty.
I think so. I have to see it. I can't
No, I feel you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't think of anything right now. It's like almost 2 a.m. I'm dead.
We'll speak to this shit. We got Raiders at the Saints.
Raiders got smoked, bro.
I heard Derek Carr played like complete ass. Somebody tried to say Derek. Somebody said that somebody took over the body of Derek Carr because that wasn't Derek Carr. And it's fucking hilarious because I think the dude played like shit. I mean, Devontae Adams had 1 catch for 3 yards. Horrendous. Saints put it on him. Alvin Kamara had a day, 3 touchdowns. They killed it.
Looking at the video real quick, we had the Bengals for North. East was Bills. South was Titans. West was Chiefs. North was Packers. East was Cowboys.
Okay.
South was Bucks. West was Rams.
Yeah,
a little bit off on some of these.
Well, we didn't expect the Eagles to start out this hot, that's for sure. I expected them to do better, but didn't expect this. And then I also didn't expect the Packers to be that bad. You know what I mean? I figured it'd
There's some, the Rams fell off. Buccaneers, that's still in play. Cowboys could still be in play if the Eagles cool off a little bit.
Yeah.
Packers completely fell off a cliff. Kansas City, we're chilling with. Titans we're chilling with. Bills are chilling with. The Bengals, again, another team I did not expect to fall off because what are they now? 4-4 now.
Yeah. Still got a chance at division, but
wild card's looking a little rough right now for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, back to the Raiders game. Like the Raiders just are in shambles. I don't even know what to say about them. Saints again can't figure out.
I didn't really see any of this game on Red Zone.
You know why? Because the Saints put up like 21 points in the first half, and then we didn't even see. They showed nothing after that on Red Zone.
That's what I'm saying. So I didn't really see anything. I remember seeing Devontae Adams getting like overthrown, but that's it. That's all I remember really seeing. I don't remember even seeing the Saints score.
You want to know something? The Raiders did not take one snap on the Saints side of the field. That's crazy.
Wild. So you didn't even that's some don't bend, don't break defense. Really.
This game ended so fast, Nick. This game was final and over whenever the fucking... It was still like the third quarter in some of these early games. I shit you not. This game ended so quick because I feel like the Raiders called the Saints at halftime and was like, yo, can y'all just run the ball over and over and get us the fuck out of here? Because it's just not our day today. Let's go home. And then the Saints were like, fuck it. So both teams just ran the ball and just kept draining the clock because this game ended so quick and we didn't see shit on Red Zone with it after the second half.
I literally don't really remember seeing anything.
I think I saw
like I said, I saw some Derek Carr overthrows on the Adams, and that was it.
There was 2 snaps we saw on the Raiders' offensive side of the ball. I swear, bro, crazy. Patriots, Jets. Patriots at 4-4, Jets at 5-3. Patriots beat the Jets again. We kind of talked about this. Zach Wilson just looked bad. Dude had some very good plays where he escaped the pocket and scrambled, and then ended up throwing the ball away or overthrowing a guy or throwing it right to the defensive player. I don't know. Dude had 3 interceptions?
Yes.
Put Joe Flacco in. That's all I got to say about the Jets. Or Mike White even. Fuck it.
The last thing I'll say about young quarterbacks is I'm just so tired of hearing everyone say, just give him time. He could be the next Josh Allen. You know what I mean?
But even then, Josh Allen showed shit through that whole process.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
He showed talent. He showed the fact that he could run. That he's 6'6", he can run, he can take hits.
Yeah.
He can throw an absolute fucking cannon throw. There's literally no one else like Josh Allen.
And look, I was never...
And there will probably never be a Josh Allen.
Y'all want to know something funny? This is kind of why I am the way I am about quarterbacks now and players. I like to give them time. Is because of Josh Allen. Because I thought Josh Allen was trash. I didn't think he was going to be any good. And I was completely wrong in that department. I labeled him too quick and didn't give him a chance. I'm not saying you need to give these guys like Zach Wilson chances and chances, but in that process, you got to at least show something like Josh Allen did. You know what I mean? Josh Allen, I thought was bad. He showed some shit, and then look at him now. I think he's top 3, if not, you know what I mean, top 2. Amazing.
I thought it was dog shit, trash as well. But I also thought he had talent because, you can see he can run.
Oh, absolutely.
He did have an absolute cannon, but he had no accuracy. That was the biggest thing. Once he got Diggs, he kind of he really fucking hummed it in.
He put a whole lot of work into getting better, bro. I think
that's what I'm saying. I don't know what he did that offseason, but he really stepped it up.
100%.
That's the big thing too. Is I don't see no progression out of these quarterbacks that we've been calling out. I see nothing.
Yeah. I think the only one would be Trevor Lawrence, and even
that's what I'm saying. I've already
minimal.
said myself, Trevor Lawrence. I'm not as big a supporter, but I've seen the work he's put in. I've seen the progress.
Yeah.
Oh my god, excuse me. I don't see that with Trevor Lawrence,
Zach Wilson.
With Zach Wilson, my god, I'm getting I'm just so tired, bro.
Um,
Again, the guy the guy can run. The guy has a decent arm, but he literally has no IQ.
Yeah, none. Can't read a
and
defense.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't do anything else except for run around or throw the ball, and then you throw it, and it's like it's picked off. Like what is the fucking point?
Yeah. How many more chances we got to give the
Like
give
you
the
break
guy?
like 4 sacks, and you throw the ball right to the defender. Like just take the sack then.
Yeah.
At least you keep the ball.
Give yourself another
Like-
chance.
Like my lord.
Yeah.
And like we talked about it too before we I don't think we talked about this on the podcast. It's like how his teammates
Oh yeah.
are intentionally calling him out. Like that to me is bad looks all around.
Yeah. Something's got to
Like
be said about that.
yeah, like at the end of the day, it's like your coach should step up and support the player, like because that's at the end of the day, it's your franchise player. But my God, he fuck me. Just go into acting. Quit. Just go into acting. Like you
I
would
would
get
not-
a job so fast.
I would
like-
not be surprised when they play the Bills this week that Josh Allen. Or,
It's that measuring stick game for me. Like
yeah. How much can you do
You're-
against the Bills defense?
yeah. Not only that, how do you stack up to an actual fucking good quarterback? Because
That-
people want to talk about give him a chance, give him a chance. Let's see how you do against a good one.
And I think another good thing is a measuring stick for the Jets defense. We talk about them being a good defense, and we think they're potentially top 10 or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it
a lot
is,
of people
you know
think
what I
that they're
mean?
going to be a top 10.
How are they
defense.
going to withhold against Josh Allen and the Bills? That's a big test in my eyes, too.
I'll tell you right now, my fucking crystal ball, I see big fucking L coming, like 50 bomb, 40 bomb.
Oh,
Like,
God.
I see them just getting absolutely spanked and worked.
We'll
Josh
see.
Allen gets pulled in like the third quarter.
Oh, no, not that early.
That's how bad they're just spanking him. It's like a college game.
No. Oh, no.
It's like the classic Alabama games. They pulled them because they're doing so good.
Speaking of in college, we got Tennessee versus Georgia this Saturday. Number 1 versus number 2, I think it is. So that should be a good game.
Should be a
hopefully.
good one. They've been hyping this guy up for me, and I've been watching him.
Oh no, I'm gonna watch that game this Saturday. Thankfully, I'm off fucking Saturday, so that'll be lit. Moving on.
Oh,
We
whoa,
got-
whoa, 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 whoa. Don't forget the other side of the ball there, Mac Jones. You're dog shit, too.
Yeah, we'll throw that in there too, you little bitch.
That man threw, I think, what was that, pick 2, yeah.
Yeah, he had a pick too. He didn't look the greatest either. Next we
I
got.
thought you were trying to let Mac Jones off
Nah,
there
bro.
easy.
I've came at Mac Jones' throat enough on this podcast. I figured I'd cut him a break.
I think this is the game you just wrap this game up
Yeah,
quick.
AJ Brown,
AJ Brown's
Jalen
that
Hurts,
dude.
Built different.
Jesus
Yo, real quick
Christ.
on this game, and it's going to be very quick. I want y'all to, whoever listens to this podcast, to go back and watch the throws on the touchdown passes that Jalen Hurts threw to AJ Brown. Just beautiful balls, perfectly placed. Love it. Next we got the Titans and the Texans. Again, anybody in the world could have scripted how this game was going to work. Derrick Henry was going to get 900 yards and 8 touchdowns. That's pretty much what happened. Yeah.
The NFL script writers just went basic on that game.
Yeah, you didn't have to do that one any different. I mean, they do it the same every year. Every year
You
and
got
twice
this-
a year.
I mean, you got the same game pretty much below it right here. Just 6 points difference.
Fuck yeah. Taylor Heineke is that guy. Hey, did you see Taylor Heineke whenever
Don't touch
he
my
beat...
Heineke.
Yeah, I fucking hate you. 2 things I want to point out about this game. And it's
I saw that throw
specifically-
to Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, that was nice, wasn't it?
That was nice.
I just want to point out, like I said in the previous podcast, Terry McLaurin's going to take a step with Taylor Heineke, and I think he did. The last 2 weeks, he's looked like Terry McLaurin of old. Taylor Heineke just loves throwing the ball to Terry. I think I specifically pointed that out for fantasy because I know McLaurin hasn't had the best of year, but he's definitely on the uptick with.
Who knew it'd do you good if you threw the ball at your fucking number 1 target?
Bro, I'm telling you, right? Like, Carson Wentz doesn't even know that. Dude tries to throw it to fucking Curtis Samuel, whoever that is. Oh, fuck.
The Debo Samuel knockoff.
Yeah, right? But, did you hear the thing with Taylor Heineke? When he beats a team, he goes and buys a pair of Jordans in the color of the team he beat. So when he beat the Packers, he went and bought a pair of green and yellow Jordans. So now he's got to
Wait,
go.
who does that?
Taylor
Oh,
Heineke. Yeah. So all the teams he's beaten in the NFL, he has all these Jordans with their fucking team colors on it. It's the funniest shit ever.
I was gonna say, speaking of Curtis Samuel, someone else came on here on this podcast at one point in time and was talking about Curtis Samuel being a knockoff Debo Samuel.
I think that might
Well,
be the person in the chat, right?
No, it was the Jets fan. Might have
Oh,
to
it
run
was
his opinion on
Tyler?
that again. It
Uh-oh.
was. I don't know if you remember that.
You know what's funny is they are actually giving him rushing opportunities now, which is funny. I don't think he's a bad wide receiver. I was just fucking around. Like, I know who Curtis Samuel is, but I do think that Terry McLaurin is light years better than Curtis Samuel in my eyes.
I'm sorry.
No, I know. Yeah, I mean, Commanders squeaked one out. Jonathan
I think
Taylor
the
is
Commanders
lost.
have won like 2 games in a row, is it now?
So they won week 1, and then I think they lost 3 in a row, and I think they've won 3 in a row now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
so
gonna say they've been on a win streak here.
yeah, I think Taylor Heineke's a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. Hot take, maybe a medium take. Yeah,
I'll give it a medium.
medium. Colts, give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. That's all you got to do. You're literally the knockoff version of the Titans. That's how y'all win games. What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know if Frank Reich knows what they're doing.
Frank Reich's going to get fired. Next,
100%.
we got 49ers at the Rams. I'm completely out on the Rams. They fucking suck. Their O-line sucks. They can't run the ball. Matt Stafford looks like a Lions Matt Stafford. If it's not Cooper Kupp, they ain't doing shit. Like, 49ers just look disgusting with CMC on there now. Like, whoever let that trade go through, like, why are people not vetoing that in the league? Like, can other owners not veto trades? You got one of the best rushing style offenses behind, like, the Titans and a couple other teams.
God damn, this dude played fucking quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Like,
like, how are you gonna? So, why
I didn't even know that was possible.
I didn't
Fucking
either.
threw a touchdown pass, caught a touchdown pass, ran for a touchdown. Is that even legal?
And then I think he almost ran for another touchdown too. He almost had 4 TDs that day.
The only thing I'll say though is why couldn't he do it against the Chiefs? But hey, that's okay with me.
Yeah.
You do it now, CMC.
There we go.
I drafted you last year and you fucked me, but you run CMC, you run.
Everybody's so upset when they passed on CMC and took Jonathan Taylor. I guarantee it.
Dude, I don't want to talk about it, dude.
We're not going.
Because I'm one of those people.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I should have just taken Justin Jefferson. Should have trusted him.
I told you I would have taken Derrick Henry #1 overall, but that's just me because that dude's different. Yeah, Rams suck. I'm sorry. Next, we got. That's all I can say, bro. Like, there's just
all
certain
the LA teams are trash.
Nick, there's just certain teams this year that I look at and I just want to fucking punch them in the face. Like, let me go through real quick. Broncos,
That's
I
what
want
I'm
to knock
saying,
you
like,
the fuck out.
There's certain like you pull up these teams and I'm saying I don't want to talk about them. They're so bad. Like,
Cardinals don't want to talk about. Raiders, you're fucking.
That's
ugly.
why I usually half the time I just let you say it because I'm like, there's nothing for me to say that I'm not gonna repeat. Like, they're suck.
It's so bad.
Like,
I'll let you take this game. Giants and Seahawks. What do you think?
I actually watched this game.
Did you?
It was
yeah, because Janine's Giants fan.
It was not bad. Like, the Giants is like literally just. This is probably the worst. Like, we talked about how good the Giants have been because of their coaching. This is probably one of the worst. Not coaching, but just like one of their worst games they played under Dable for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they just looked out of sync. The Seahawks shut down the Giants' run game. Barkley couldn't really do anything. Daniel Jones kind of looked a little bit like his old self, missing throws. Just it wasn't there like that game.
I think the 2 fumbles on special teams definitely hurt them a lot.
Oh, that helped too. Richie James got concussed on that shit too.
Yeah, no,
so it's like that's big pain. He fumbled twice and he got the concussion. Like, holy shit. That is awful. I feel bad for that guy. Also, too, what was I saying? What was I saying? It was like, it wasn't a bad game. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like the missed plays. But I also I think the lack of weapons for Daniel Jones here kind of caught up to them. Finally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, they've been getting by winning with these like no name players basically, but now it's like I feel like you could see it in this game, like they just couldn't keep up because like there was Tyler Lockett was running for fucking touchdowns and shit, like
Yep.
wide open. Kenneth Walker was getting it going a little bit. I can't remember. DK played a little bit. I don't remember
He had that
if
touchdown.
I don't remember he had like a big day or anything like that.
No, I think he had that one touchdown catch, and that was pretty much it. He didn't have like it was a Lockett day. Like it seemed like it was like we talk about all the time. Lockett, boomer bust all the time. Like has good games, had bad
Literally
games.
the definition of boomer bust.
Yeah, he had. One
It was so funny. I
games.
showed Janine because Janine has them. She's like, I should have started them. And then when they pulled up his thing, like and it's like for ESPN, how they have like the boom bust. It said boom 3 times, bust 3 times. I'm like, boomer bust.
Bro, I had him 1 year in fantasy, and I literally every week had to sit there for hours on end and say, is this the week he does good? And I would look at his like previous weeks, and there was at one point in time, Nick, like for a couple weeks in a row.
He's due.
It was the way it worked out. He had a bad game, a good game, a bad game, a good game, a bad game, a good game. So it was alternating. So I was like, fuck, let me see if I can play off of this and work. And it ended up working a couple weeks, and then he had a couple bad weeks. But yeah, no, I mean, he definition of boomer bust, and he had one of his really good games. It seemed like he was always open.
Yeah, like my final thoughts, I just think the lack of talent on the Giants offensive side for like skill positions definitely caught up.
Yeah.
But
what do you think about the Seahawks? You in or out on the Seahawks?
I'm gonna need to give it another week.
Okay.
I think they're okay. I think they could be good in the weaker NFC conference. If they're in I don't know, if they're in a tougher place, maybe, but I gotta see them play someone.
I hear you.
It's kind of like the Bengals. Like I want to see them play someone before I start.
Yeah.
I start going in on them.
I think they're getting to the point to where we need to start having that conversation. That's why I asked you. You know what I mean? I think Geno Smith's playing really well.
Yeah,
Kenneth
they're definitely looking like they're gonna jump up there, but
yeah, give it a couple more weeks.
Give it another week. I don't know who they're playing. Who are they playing this week?
I think the Cardinals.
Yeah, the Cardinals. So
somebody in chat is saying Geno Smith for MVP. Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. I think it might be a little early on that.
I don't even need to read the chat to know who that is.
Yeah, we know that's Nathan. I think they played the Cardinals earlier this season, Nick, and they beat them, if I recall.
I can check. Let's see. They played the Chargers. Oh yeah, they played week 6. They won 19-9.
Okay, so that was the game they shut Kyler Murray the fuck down. But I do agree with what you're saying on the Giants side of the ball. It seems like if teams can shut down this Barkley run game,
they just don't have wide receivers.
Yeah,
like,
they need help bad.
We smoked phase Kyler.
This guy's funny. Oh yeah, this is like week 2 of COD being out, so Kyler might be fucked. Seahawks should win that. And I don't think so, no. But yeah, I mean, Giants take their second loss. I called it. I just want to say that. I predicted that. What's up? Next we got...
I called the Jets losing. What's up? Yeah. Fucking like,
leave me alone.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck that game. Fuck Zach Wilson. Next we got Packers at the Bills.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I told Janine, I was like, I'd rather just watch a movie. Like, I feel like this is gonna be a fucking Bills win. Like, I don't even need to watch it. Like,
the Packers made it somewhat close at the end, but that's because the Bills were just coasting at that point. Not much needs to be said about that game. What is that? 4 losses in a row for the Packers? Just ugly, man. A lot of people are trying to say that they're about to win the next 5 and or the next 3 and end up 6-5. At this rate, dude, they might just keep on losing. Yes, he is in
Aaron
phase.
Rodgers is going to fucking
No. I'm not gonna let this slide. Hold up,
boy.
Hold the fuck up.
You just triggered him.
Can we go back? Can we please go back to our episode where Nathan was on and we talked about Rashad Penny and he was sucking his dick?
I really don't want to go back.
No.
The dick riding was insane.
Bro, that's all he was doing. And I shut him down on it. And what's he saying now? What did I say? I was hyping Kenneth Walker the fuck up before he even got the job. And here he is.
4K, 2K, 1080p, 1920, fucking 720.
For any of y'all on the podcast that can't see the chat, Nathan, quote unquote, the Hornet, says, Kenneth Walker is my favorite running back in all capitals. And then he says, Rashad Penny who? Any fans of the show that have watched previous episodes, we had Nathan on here, and he proceeded to hype up Rashad Penny, and I shut him down and said Kenneth Walker is going to be the fucking guy, and look at him now. Backtracking. He's backtracking, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, had to throw that out there. Next, we had the Monday night game tonight. Bengals and the Browns, 13-32. The Browns took this. Browns might have just solidified themselves as being back in the quote-unquote race of the division. I don't think they're going to win it. I'm not saying they are, but they needed to win this game.
We literally talked about it. Apparently, Jamar Chase is the glue to the Bengals.
Yeah, I think
It's
a lot
not
of
Joe
people are confused. Yeah, we all thought it was Joe Burrow holding this team together. I think it might be Jamar Chase. We'll see next week. But they did not look good on the offensive side of the ball at all. Somebody said Geno Smith is better than Russ. That's not
That game
saying
was fucking ass, like sloppy
Bro, ugly.
for the Bengals.
I damn near fell asleep during it. We should have just done the podcast earlier while that game was going on, because Jesus, that was ugly. You ready for predictions? You got anything else on week 8 that we need to recap?
Sorry.
No, you're
No,
good.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm done here.
yeah.
I need to get
We're almost done.
these predictions done.
Real quick, I'm still 2 games behind Nick in the predictions, so hopefully this week I
Yeah,
can...
we're gonna splitting again.
Yeah, we split again, so I'm still 2 games behind. Hopefully I can come back this week. Thursday night, which is funny, the World Series game for the Astros got canceled or postponed today. So on Thursday, you're going to have a game, Astros versus Phillies, and then Eagles versus Texans. Philly and Houston.
I already know what I'll be watching.
Yeah. Eagles take this game. 100%.
Yeah, Eagles. Yeah. I don't think the Texans are gonna do anything.
No. Next, we have the Chargers at the Falcons.
Fuck, you got to think about this one.
It's bad. You have to. Because the Chargers have been so bad against bad teams, dude. Oh, I don't want to pick them. I'm taking the Chargers.
I'm gonna go Falcons. I'll mix it up.
Fuck. I was
Take a
hoping
chance.
you didn't do that. Fuck me.
See what happens, you know?
See what happens. I like it. Dolphins at the Bears. I'm taking the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Why am I thinking about this one? Panthers at the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals.
I'll match you. I'm gonna go Bengals as well.
Packers at the Lions. I'm taking the Lions.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go Lions. Honestly,
I'm going Lions.
I have zero faith in Aaron Rodgers.
None. This will probably be the game he comes out and throws 9 touchdowns.
I'm going Jaguars.
Raiders, Jaguars. Yeah, I'm going Jags as well.
Oh, I can't type right now.
Next, we got Colts at the Patriots. Ugh.
Oh God.
Can we just both say we're going to pick the same team on this? Because I don't want to have to decide.
I'm probably gonna go Patriots. I'm just gonna take Bill.
I'm taking Bill, too, because Colts are ugly.
It's the only thing I can trust.
Yeah. Bills, Jets. I'm taking the Bills.
J-E. No, it's good.
Wait, we only have 2 games at 3 o'clock this week.
Yeah. The buys this week are Cleveland Browns, Dallas Cowboys, Denver Broncos, New York Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers, San Francisco. So that is 1,
3 games.
2, 3 games we are
Yikes.
short.
Unfortunate, boys.
You already know, walking it in, Vikings.
Vikings over Commanders, absolutely. Next, we got the 5-3 Seahawks versus the 3-5
Vikings is
Cardinals.
the child that me and Craig raised together this season.
The what? The child?
So the Viking, yeah, that's our child we raised this season.
You're
We're
not
both
wrong.
we're both equally in on them.
Absolutely. Seahawks and the Cardinals. I'm taking the Seahawks. This is a big game for the Seahawks to try to solidify themselves as potentially winning the division. Like, I know it's still early, but they low-key need to win this game.
I'm thinking about it. Honestly, I thought about it really hard. But then I'm also thinking that it's Call of Duty release
Yeah.
week
It's like
this
second
week.
week
So
of COD, so...
does he burn out after 1 week, or is he good for 2 weeks?
My guy, he loves Call of Duty. He lives on that game.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't
I'm
think
sure
he
there'll
runs
probably be
out.
a double XP weekend as well. So
No, we're not.
fucking
Look,
be on there.
Kyler comes out, fucking just puts up 50 on the board. I'm taking the
I thought
Seahawks,
about
though.
it, but I'm gonna take the Seahawks. Fuck it.
What is this next game, man? Rams with the
Oh
Bucks.
my god.
I know what game I'm watching at 3 o'clock. It's the Seahawks game. Oh,
I
fuck,
think this
man.
game's only on here to see how many fucking interceptions these guys can throw.
Oh, fuck. I don't know who to pick, man.
I might pick a tie.
A tie? Can we do that?
I don't know who's gonna win this game, man. Fucking hell.
I'm taking the Bucks.
Man. I'm thinking really about it, but my thinking is I looked at the injury report. The Bucks defense is destroyed. If Cooper Cup plays, he might be able to just run all over that team. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
He might be able to bail out a terrible Matthew Stafford. I'm gonna go Rams. I'm talking myself into it.
All right.
I think he just runs over the injury depleted fucking team. I'm assuming you're going Chiefs on this one.
Dude, I don't know, man, because, like...
Oh, I'm going Chiefs.
Hold on. Hear me out on this. Chiefs are the better team. Absolutely.
Mahomes fresh off a bye.
But the Titans have this thing where they can control the game with Henry, and I don't know if the Chiefs can shut that down. And we've seen multiple times to where when Patrick Mahomes is on the bench for a while, he starts to come in, and when he comes into play, he doesn't play the best. I'm going to take the Chiefs, though. Fuck. I almost talked myself into the Titans, though.
Hey, I talked myself into the fucking
Yeah.
Rams here.
I'll take Chiefs, though. Fresh off a bye. Been game planning against the Titans for
That's what I'm
fucking
saying,
2 weeks. Like, they're
Chiefs
gonna
are fresh
smoke
off
them.
the bye. Kelsey's gonna be ready to go. It ain't gonna matter.
Yeah. Monday night, we got Ravens at the Saints. Taking the Ravens.
Taking the Ravens too. I'm gonna buy back into Lamar. Just to get disappointed once more.
So we only had two different, the Rams and Bucks game, and then the Falcons-Chargers game.
Well, may the best man win.
We didn't pick the same on every game, Nathan. We had two different. He picked the Rams, I picked the Bucks, and then he picked the Falcons, I picked the Chargers.
Nathan's like some bullshit.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to show this real quick, just to talk about it for a quick second, and then we're out of here. Just a real quick division. AFC East is looking pretty stout. 6-1, 5-3, 5-3, 4-4. North is looking competitive. Browns, like I said, are coming back in it a bit. I think the Baltimore will probably run away with this. Bengals might still have a chance. This is the Titans division all day. This AFC South runs through the Titans. West, we've talked about it before. Chargers could maybe make a push, but the Chiefs are just too good.
Chargers are definitely not making a push.
Yeah.
A push to the fucking dump.
Next, we got the NFC side. We got the NFC East, which is looking very competitive as well. You got 7-0, 6-2, 6-2, and 4-4. The Commanders have came back. They were, like we said, 1-3. So they're getting back in the mix. They're not going to win the division, but who knows? Next, we got the NFC North, 6-1. Green Bay Packers 3-5. The Bears 3-5, and the Lions 1-6. Vikings are smoking all these teams. Next, NFC South, 4-4 Falcons. This is going to be, these next two divisions, in my opinion, could literally go to anybody. Falcons in the lead, 4-4. Bucks 3-5. Saints 3-5. Panthers 2-6. Seahawks 5-3. 49ers 4-4. Rams 3-4. Cardinals 3-5. Like, those two divisions are going to be toss-ups in my mind. I still don't know who it's going to be. Yeah, that's going to be the... Just wanted to look at the division standings because we haven't really looked at them a whole lot yet. Yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for Week 9 predictions and Episode 12 as a whole. I just wanted to throw out real quick that I think this Saturday, me and Nick are going to do a special episode, and we're going to revisit quarterback rankings that we did, team rankings that we did, maybe revisit the winners, losers, just talk about that and see where, like, we lie as an overall, just revisiting it, you know what I mean? See how it looks at the middle
How
of
do
the
our
season.
takes look so far?
Yeah, there we go. I couldn't fucking say it. But yeah, again, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thanks for all the new people stopping by. This video will be out tomorrow and Tuesday, and that video we do Saturday, if we do it, which I think we probably will, but if we do it, we'll probably put it out that same day, and then we'll have our regular episode on that Monday, or that Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to wrap it up. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like,
Take
comment,
care. Be
subscribe.
safe.
Yep.
Happy Halloween.
Enjoy week 9. Peace.